What is up, winning team? Welcome to part 2, where I'm telling you guys about the tragic story of the lives of some of my old closest friends, because I just randomly started to think about one, which I talked about in the previous video, so go and check that out if you want to hear about that. And in this one, I'm going to talk about another friend, because she's probably like my closest friend I ever had. Like, she literally used to spend more time at my house than she spent at one of her parents' houses, right? So, backstory about her. So, when we first met, I really liked her at work because we just hit it off. So we were all part of the same friendship group, yeah. We just hit it off because I really appreciated the fact that she's very like sociable. Do we give her a name? Am I going to be able to keep up with it if I do? She's very sociable, and I say that because it all came together because at the start of the year, she's an October baby, so just after we've started school in year 7, she has this big sleepover, and she invites literally everyone, which I have to say says a lot, because another one of the girls in the group had a sleepover in like the first couple of weeks of school, but she'd only invited me and the girl I was talking about in the previous video, which at the time I was like, oh, that's so cool that like I was one of the 2 people she invited. Looking back, I feel like these were the seeds of tension that developed, because she's the one I end up getting in trouble for later on in school. So anyway, we're gonna call this friend, let's call her Lisa, right? No, I don't know, because the thing is, all I can hear in my head is all the names of, there's so many girls involved in this. I'm trying to pick a name that's not like any of the girls' names. Hold on. All right, let's call her Jodie, right? So I'm going to go over there, and then I might go sit by the thing. So Jodie, she invites us all for a sleepover, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it was really a lot of fun. We were like playing games in her house. She had this game, it was like a karaoke like kind of game, and she's a singer, by the way, and she used to sing, and when I tell you, to this day, one of the best vocalists I've ever known. That's what I realized when I was in Italy and I was hearing these other women singing. It kind of reminded me, I was like, the last time I thought that this is the best vocals I've heard was my friend who I used to have, right? And the whole story is kind of tragic. So she had incredible vocals, but she wasn't really like trying to do anything with it. So one day at school, I pushed her and I said, there was like a I don't know, some kind of thing that we were doing at school, and I was like egging her on. I was like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Because me and her and another girl, we used to sing together, right? And we'd go to the music room like at lunchtime, and then we would like sing together. We would be all harmonizing, and we all like came up with a name for our little group, like, and everything. And then we got a couple extra people in, like, you know, to play some instruments as well, because at the time I was heavy on playing the keys, and I'm at home, so I already had a whole folder, and I still have the folder with all my written songs, lyrics, music, everything. It's really cute to look at one day I'll actually show you guys some of these songs that I wrote, because they're so cute, honestly, but like, they're honestly better than the songs I'm doing now. And we used to all make music together, but that was just for fun. In my mind, I was like, I'm just doing this for fun, but like, you need to lock in with this, because she just had such a beautiful voice. To help you to understand, yeah, it was giving Jessie Nelson, okay? That's the best way I can describe how her voice was. And it was just so good. So I pushed her to do this singing thing. She was like, I can't do it. I was like, no, you have to do it. And then the rest was history. She kind of was known for singing, and also we all used to play sports as well. And so she was like, I'm like a short distance runner, you guys. The long distance, although I will say I didn't do my first long distance run in the last couple of years. And I pulled out a 7K, right? Which I didn't check how much I was running. I was like, I'm just going to run until I get bored. And I wanted to keep going, but I just got so bored. That's my problem with long distance running. It just gets boring. It just gets boring. But she was a long distance runner. So she would always run like the 2,500. I would run like 100 meters a relay. She also used to do javelin. Like, she's got a freaking insane throw on her. So it was all fun and games. I was saying, I was living the dream. Like, I was living the dream. Me and my friends all into the same things, all into multiple different things, and we're all, So she used to play every sport, and she also used to play football. And she was playing for one of these I don't know what the word is for it. They're like the teams that if you're serious about doing football one day, you play in these, and this is where you get scouted, and then you go to an academy, and then you go, semi-pro, etc. So she was really good at football, really, really good at football. And she just had it all, if you ask me. Nevertheless, as time went on, we used to hang out a lot at my house, like I said. So the story goes like this. Her parents were separated, which at the time was unusual. Okay, I know that's all normal now. And so she used to spend 50% of the week at her dad's house and 50% of the week at her mum's house. As in, they made it so, between them, her parents, that it was exactly 50-50. So she would literally spend 3.5 days is that right? Can I do math? 3.5 days at each of her parents' houses. That was all fine and well. Now, here's some of the problems that arose, going back to some of the things I was talking about in the other video. Problem number one was, in terms of academics, I was a little bit ahead, for the subjects, which, again, I never really cared about grades, but it was another one of those where you had somebody else's parent comparing me to their child, which made things really awkward. And I could always tell how awkward it was because I don't bring up anything about what I'm doing, right? I do not bring it up. That's why people are always surprised by what I've been up to in my life, because I'm just there just chilling. And that's why I love teaching as a cover for everything. So if anybody asks what do you do, I'm just a teacher. What have you done? I'm just teaching. You know what I mean? Because as soon as it gets anything outside of that, the room gets tense. So I would say one of her parents made it awkward because they'd be like, oh, wow, she's doing good. She can do this. And it wasn't good because I used to also go to her parents' houses quite a lot as well. So I saw how they were. And her dad was very, very well off, right? Rich. And so he would pick us, when I would go and be staying at hers, he would pick us up in a freaking sports car and be driving with the top down at ridiculous speed across the country roads to go to his literal mansion. It wasn't quite a mansion, but it was a big house. Big house. And they had horses and they had quad bike. These are things that people don't really have in this country like that. Yeah. And they had an outdoor garden, game room, and all sorts, right? So it was a lot of fun when we would go there, and we would hang out and stuff like that. And so as time went on, I feel like these seeds provided a bit of tension between the two of us, because when we would be at school, this was another episode of being obsessed with male attention, like I was saying in the last one. She was the type of person that as soon as she'd get into a relationship, all she would ever do is be with the person she's with, right? Which to me didn't, again, bother me that much because I'm always been quite independent. So for me, it's if people are there, then great. But if they're not, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be oh my gosh, I'm so lonely. I've never felt lonely. I've never experienced boredom until now. And my boredom is just that there's nothing I want to do in this life because there's nothing worth doing as long as there are other human beings involved. So, which means everything, because there's nothing I can truly do 100% without any human contact. So anyway, during the school days, she would just do these things that I just didn't understand, yeah. for one of them would be, we always have to wear these skirts at school, which is another thing I just think is weird, because they're like straight, and then they had like a slit in the back, and the rules were that we were supposed to wear them at our knee, right? Which was so impractical for like walking and everything. So most of us would wear them like I would wear my skirt about an inch above my knee, but the girlies, yeah, they would roll those skirts up to all high heaven, and the teachers would be like, unroll your skirts. She used to roll her skirt up really high. And I remember, because one time we were at lunchtime, a few of the guys in our form group were teasing her, like, oh, we can see that you got watermelon on your knickers, like, and I was just like, in my head, I was thinking, that's so embarrassing. Like, that's so embarrassing, because she used to hike her skirt all the way up, and I used to think, why do you want to do that? Like, what have we achieved with this? But nevertheless, these little tensions here and there, right, would happen. And so we made friends anyways. And we all got out of school, and went to university, and she decided to go to a different part of the country. Well, yeah, we stayed kind of close afterwards, because she stayed at the school I went to, because they had a sixth form, which I explained what that is in the previous video, so you can go and check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. She stayed at the sixth form at the school, and I was like, to hell with that, I have to dress smart. Hell no. I want to wear what the hell I want. I'm going to do the sixth form at college. So I used to still come to the school anyway. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like once I've been there, like, I get to just go there. I know that's not the case, guys. But I did. So when they would have events and stuff, or like my brother would have his sports day, I'll just come to the school, mate. And I'll never forget, there was one teacher, yeah, called Miss Prince, yeah. And she did not like me at all. And she's what I would describe as a stickler. Now, she was a supply teacher, yeah, but she always used to bang on about how she has 2 chemistry degrees, which when I realized that I had a chemistry degree, I thought, this is so funny. I would love to tell Miss Prince. She still works at the school, so that tells you everything. The fact that she's still there, because once they got new leadership at the school, literally 20 plus of the staff resigned, right? So anybody who's there, I feel like, was okay with the new regime. And the other teachers were like, the only teachers that didn't resign, I remember like a few of them telling me, like my form tutor was a PE teacher, one of the maths teachers saying to us that, like, honestly, we're leaving, but I'm going to retire anyway in like 5 years, so I may as well just ride it out. And I was like, low key, fair enough. So that just goes to tell you, should I get into the story about why Miss Prince doesn't like me? Well, I'll tell you. One day, we're in languages, and I know, we're in languages, right? And we're supposed to be having German. So our German teacher wasn't there, and she took over, and it happened to be on a non-uniform day. So I was wearing like a baseball jacket and like a vest and like maybe jeans and trainers, I don't know. And that day, somebody had opened an account on Twitter. This is what I'm saying, how social media plays so much into our upbringing, right? Somebody had opened on Twitter, like, say that my school, it was a Catholic school, so say it was called St. Paul's, right? The page was called St. Paul's Exposed. So someone in our year group opened this page on this same day. And all day they were going around saying just all this funny like stuff about us. Like they were teasing everybody in the year group about certain things. And for the most part, it was lighthearted, because like I remember like one of the girls, she they called her Bigfoot, but she was just like laughing about it because it was all a bit of banter. And I do think some people got hurt. I didn't have the knowledge to know, because I find it funny when people make fun of me. So everybody was getting made fun of. It was equals. And when I say everyone, I mean literally everyone. Like no one was like it wasn't like one group of people against everyone. But I'm sure a couple of people must have got upset. And so we were all on our phones all day, which, by the way, we were all supposed to hand in at the office at the start of the day, which obviously absolutely nobody ever did, right? And I remember when it was we had a head of year, right? So my form tutor was hella chill, and he was just kind of like, just don't take the mic, like basically. And our head of year, on Tuesdays, we were all supposed to read during our form time. And every time we'd see our head of year coming down, who also happens to be was also my German teacher I'm referring to. And every time we'd see him, one of us would be like, PK. And then all of a sudden, all of us would be putting our phones away. And it was so funny. And then one day he comes in, he's like, how come every time I approach this classroom, I hear everybody saying PK, PK? I'm like, anyway, so I was in his lesson, yeah. And he always used to do these speeches, like, because where we'd have to get for languages, I don't know who had this idea, but we would all have to wait downstairs in the languages building. And then each teacher would come and collect us for our class. And so sometimes things would happen because you got a bunch of students cramped up, like 100 of them. And then you're like, oh, you don't expect something to happen. Like, anyway, so something would, and then he would give us these speeches. He'd be like, 99% of you are the good uns. You guys are the good uns. But there's that 1%, the bad nuts, and they ruin it for everyone, right? That was what he used to say. And guys, when I tell you, I used to get a 6-pack trying to hold back my laughter at my teachers. Like, they used to just make me laugh so much. I just did not take anything seriously. That's why I find it fascinating that I've ended up in education, and I giggle about it sometimes, but I'm like, look at you being so serious now. Anyways, and so he wasn't in anyways. Miss Prince was taking over. We were all on our phones, right, because of this thing that was happening. And obviously we had a surprise. We were like, oh, forget her. And she obviously had her complexes, I could tell at the time. Because kids can tell. This is why kids don't respect a lot of teachers, right? This is why even my own job now, I know that trying to be some tyrannical dictator, demanding respect through fear thing is not the way that I want the kid. There's not the way the kid's actually going to respect me. Or actually listen to me. So that's why I don't bother with none of that. Yeah. Anyways, so she's teaching us, and then for some reason she picks me out. She's like, you, girl with the curly hair. And I was like, oh, stand up, she says, right? And everyone was going, ooh, and this is me and the teachers, we would have our, they had a love-hate relationship with me because they would always tell me off for talking too much. But then the thing is, I always also did the work, and I also was engaged. So I loved giving them that conundrum, because then it would make it hard for them to get me in serious trouble. Because I remember one of my teachers, my biology teacher, I remember once he was like, I'm going to give you a green card, which they were like, it's going to go on your permanent record. And if you get like 2 of those or 3 of those or whatever, they'll kick you out of the school. And I was like, sir, but you don't really want to do that, do you? So me and my friend were cracking up of laughter in the back of biology because she'd made this joke about being in denial and the river, and we were crying of laughter about it in the back of the class, right? And that was a different class. Anyway, I was like, sir, you don't really want to though, do you? Like, let's be honest, we don't have to do that. And he didn't. I used to get away with a lot, right? A little bit of charm goes a long way. So anyways, Miss Prince was not having it, yeah. So I stood up, right? And in the midst of standing up, I've popped my phone inside my sleeve, which thank God baseball jacket sleeves, they're like, I don't know what the word is, like how they get thinner, like at the wrist part. And I was just hoping for dear life. So I was like, Miss, I don't even have my phone. And I'm like, I'm raising both my arms like, look, I literally don't even have my phone. Like, what are you talking about? And it was just like, I used to bluff the hell out of teachers, yeah. One time I didn't hand in maths homework. This was in the second year, in year 8. And I was like, Miss, call my mum right now. Call my mum right now and she'll tell you that I've left it at home. I literally just forgot it lying through my teeth. Oh, but I used to get a thrill out of it, and I didn't really care about getting in trouble, because I don't care. Who is any of you people for me to care about what you think? What even is this system? Why am I here? Anyway, so then I sat down. She could do nothing because she going to come and strip? You going to strip search me? Or I didn't say that. And then I sat down, and then everyone's like, no way. The class, because we all damn well knew I had my phone. And then she's like, well, I want to keep you back after class. I was like, all right. So I sat there, and then the actual teacher was supposed to comes in, and she's like, sir, this young lady, I think that she was using her phone in the class, yeah. Bro doesn't even bother to address me. He's just like, I know her. She's a good student. She's a good student here, and I trust that if she said that she didn't have it, she didn't have it. I was just like, So she hates me, right? Because I know she does. Because when I came back, like a year after I'd left the school, or 2 years, it would have been one of the years, to watch my brother's sports day, right? And I've just walked into the school. Now, obviously, I'm technically of age that I could be at the sixth form, but I don't go to sixth form there. So I've just walked on the thing, and I'm not sitting with the parents. I've gone to sit with my friends who like go there to watch on the field. And on the way, I've talked to the head of sixth form. He's like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I've talked to my old maths teachers. I've spoken with the teachers, yeah. And I go and sit with my friends, and I see Miss Prince, yeah, spot me, and she's standing next to the head of sixth form, and she's pointing at me because, like, if I'm going to be a guest at this point, I should technically be in the parents' area, but I wasn't. So she was like, "That girl over." I saw her point at me, and he just didn't do anything. He was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Like, oh, it was so funny. I was like, really? You remember? Talk about having a vendetta. But anyways, so that's Miss Prince for you. And she's the one with the chemistry degree. So I just think it'd be so funny for her to be like, "Oh, you know what? You did chemistry." I should be like, "You inspired me with all your speeches about how you have 2 chemistry degrees." Anyways, back to my friend. So where was I even in this story? Why did I even mention that? Oh, yeah, because I was saying about how I used to come and see my friend. So she was still going there at the time. That's one of the reasons I would come there. And she was probably who I was sitting with. So we used to hang out, and she'd made friends with a lot of the people there. And I started to notice her behavior changing, because I hate to say it like this, guys. I really hate to, but it was giving very attention seeking. And I was just like, in my head, I'm thinking, why do you actually care? Like, why do we care? Like, what? It's the same way. I'm like, why do I care what the examiner has to say about me? Like, why do I care what anybody actually has to say? So I started to notice these tendencies that she was having over there. And next thing you know, we're going off to university now. So this is where the turning point came. Now we're going to circle all the way back to something that happened in her life, right? We're at university now. So the usual with all of us who'd gone away, like when it's whoever's birthday, whoever's not there, you travel to where that person is, and we all do the events of whatever that person's doing. So like my other friend, she went to university in Kent, so I would go up to Kent for her birthday. I'd stay there for a couple of days, stay like at her student accommodation, meet all her friends. We'd like go out, do all the stuff we were doing. And so I did the same with this friend. I went up with her. So now prior to this, me and her had started to have a bit of a wobbly relationship, because she got into a relationship with this guy who was in the year above, right? And all they used to do together, well, she'd spend all her time with him. And we got into an argument once because some of the other guys, yeah, they're being hella toxic at her in her sixth form, was saying to me like, oh, like said to us about me, her, and another girl, another friend who we might talk about on another day. That, actually I've talked about her as well. And they were like, "Oh, those two are like your minions." That's what they said to me. And I was like, why the hell would you say something like that? Like, you don't understand. I just think, yeah, the boys at school were no frigging help with some of the stuff they would say, because I never saw it that way. And I don't think it was that way. The only thing why it could be seen that way is because they didn't know each other prior, because one of the other girl I'd met at college, whereas the other friend I've known from secondary school, and I used to invite both of them, and I used to invite everybody to everything. That's the truth. So me and this friend now, Jodie, she got upset at me because she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, even the guys were saying this and this." And I'm like, dude, I invite you to every single thing I invite everybody else to. You're just always with your boyfriend. And she was like that at school, and she had a boyfriend for like 2 years. And I remember it was so embarrassing because one day one of the teachers came in, and they were just like sitting there kissing in the classroom, like at lunchtime, and like that's all they ever did. And the teacher was like, "Can you guys stop?" And I was like, "Oh, that's so embarrassing." Imagine a teacher saying that. Oh my gosh. I was like, and I figured, this is so embarrassing. Like, because like the problem is, it wasn't the fact that she had a boyfriend. It was the fact that everything else in her life would stop. And I now that I look back, I've always never really liked girls like that, because even when there was a guy who I liked, yeah, who I technically was in a relationship with, right? If you can call it that. And you would never catch me like cancelling every plans with everybody else and not having a life outside of like this guy. Like it just was never like that, you know? So I never understood the girls who would be like that, if that makes sense. So anyway, Yeah, fast forward, we're at university now, and I'm going up to see her. So I'm thinking it's going to be the usual, because like, when me and my friends used to go out, yeah, with all my friendship groups that I ever had, like prior to like the university ones, I used to live like by the town, so it was always, oh my gosh, is this really gonna die? You've got to be kidding me. How does this happen? How the hell does this happen? I got to think about what I'm going to do about this. Anyways, I shouldn't have gone on the detour. We'll see where we end up, and then maybe I'll finish the story when I get back. Anyways, I'll get as far as I can. So she's gone to this other place, and I'm going to see her. So yeah, when we used to all go out together, it was quite simple. I used to live the closest to the bar we used to go to, and it was really cheap to get in, and so we could walk there. So the girls would always come to my house to get ready, and we would spend like 2 hours getting ready, but like an hour and a half plus was us dancing, listening to music, singing along, singing along, and just making silly videos and making silly Snapchats. And about like 15 minutes of it was us actually like doing makeup and like getting dressed. So this is what I think I'm walking into. I get there. Tell me why. And let's not forget the singing aspect of it all, because the singing thing is about to come back into the picture. I get there, right? And she is like a different person. So it was a really tiring day for me, because the day before, we just had the cheerleading initiation party for the newbie cheerleaders. So this must have been like second year uni. And so we all had to dress up as superhero. We all had to dress up. So I dressed up as Supergirl and all this, whatever. Anyway, we've all gone. So I'm coming from this. I'm like exhausted. I'm going up to see her, and she's there. She's there. And I go to see her, and we go to start getting ready, right? And this is when I started to really realize what was happening, right? We start like doing our makeup, right? And after about 10 minutes, I'm finished. Even like a full-blown face of makeup takes me about 15 minutes, right? My full-blown face of makeup. These girls are taking, because she had some of her other friends as well, and some other like mutual friends who'd also come up as well, are taking like an hour and a half to do the damn makeup. And I remember as soon as the question left her mouth, oh, are you finished already? I was like, oh. And next thing you find out, the party that she's having is being paid for by some guy who, of course, she's sleeping with, who, of course, doesn't actually want her, but is kind of using her for vocals on his music. So she's gone from being this potentially incredible artist, and I said to her, you should like really hone in, like you've got one of those voices, you've got a big voice, to reducing herself to like these vocals of these girls you would hear on these rap songs that people would make, where they're just like an addition. Then it's nothing that special, like. And she was really living that. And so he'd paid for this whole birthday party she was having, basically. And I was just like, not again. No, I didn't think that at the time. And, and she was just acting so weird. I remember there was a part of the time during like her actual party, where she comes to me, where like, oh, because like we always had this thing with all my friends I've ever had, like all the girlies, we know that when you have like a house party, you have somebody's room that's always locked off. That's the safe space for all the girlies, right? And so it's usually you, the host. So like when I would have a party, it would always be like all the girls can put their stuff in my room. They can always go into my room if they need to. And my room is like not open to anyone. Like, obviously no one should be going in there anyways, but just like this is the safe space in the environment. So I remember some of the other girlies, like those of us who are like the close ones, are going in, and she was getting ticked off because she wanted to go and do whatever she was going to do with her sugar daddy, right? And I was just like, is that who we've become? Like this, I was thinking, is this who we've become? I could not believe it. Like I could not believe this is where we found ourselves, yeah? And so the next thing, there was just a weird tension ever since then. And ever since then, she was just really attention seeking online, like just always naked, like bent over, ass cheeks out, like wearing just like looking like not even just dressing provocatively, but like just the outfits she would wear. It's like literally she was just missing the stripper pole, right? And she was begging it so hard. Like I mean, even on like her Instagram, she posts story after story. This is why I don't like to post cooking content. This is why I don't want to look like I'm trying to impress no man, right? As much as I love cooking for everybody, but I don't want to look like I'm trying, because that's what I've seen. Like, so she would cook all these meals, right? And she'd be like, this could be for you, this could, and I was just like, this is now, well, we're no longer near each other, and we're just different people now. She's reduced herself to just singing like this, to just being naked, and I'm just like, how have we ended up here? And the sad thing is, of it all, is, in her life experience, to do with the divorce and whatnot of everything that had happened with her parents, well, story goes, her mum, little she found out later, because she told me when this happened, this is when we were still like at school, she found out that her dad, sister's husband was cheating with her mum. That's why her parents divorced. And I was like, so that's just added another layer to all of this, because we've all been to the wedding. I went to the frigging wedding with her, the mum and the new guy. I was all flipping there doing whatever that dance is, the one where everyone's all on the floor doing the little. I was there. And so when she found that out, I think that was a huge blow, because her dad never actually spoke about it, right? Which again, this is just a tale as old as time. And her mum was always the one who was very much also like a bit more strict, like with everything, and kind of a bit more like, her dad was kind of just like, look, just be successful at whatever you can be successful at, and just make sure you do your best and you succeed. Like her mum was a lot more like, by the rules, by this, a bit more, I don't know what the word is. So to find out that this was the skeleton in the closet, so I feel like all these things basically is what I'm saying, factored into who she became. And like to this day, she's still on this whole horse. She's now making music still, but she's still very, and it's just sad. Like, it's just really sad to see like how people turned out. And I really do think it's the environments and the experiences we were all having and how things were like hitting everyone that led us to where we are now. You know what I mean? Because this is what I mean when I say that I feel like I learned last year that the reason I've lost a lot of friends, I always thought it was because, oh my gosh, there's so much wrong with me, which there's a lot wrong with me, but I've come to realize, I can't let go of my morals and values for nothing. Like, not for a paycheck, not for an opportunity, not for a man, bro. No, I can't do it. I don't know. Must be because of the relationship I've had with God all my life. And to see what these people could have become, like, these are the heartbreaks I'm telling you about, because I'm like, oh, you guys had so much to give. Like, if she had like not been involved with this guy and had instead, doubled down on her vocal training, doubled down on being a solo artist, not just hopping on whichever rapper's track that will let you do backing vocals. I'm like, you're not a backing vocalist. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, and so there was just tension. And then finally I knew the relationship came to an end, because years later we didn't really talk, we didn't see each other, but we still had each other on social media. I was posting like the campaign for my International Women's Day event, which is coming up. International Women's Day is going to be in a few days. Maybe I'll do a video and I'll show you guys all the old footage of that event. And so I had a vision of how I wanted to do it, and she sends me this long paragraph. We haven't spoken in years, about how if I want to do well on Instagram and I want to do this, then I should do that and that and this and that. And I had to just kind of be like, yeah, that's actually not the goal I have here. The goal was not to just like, the goal has never been to just get attention for the sake of nothing. I'm curating a vibe and an image and a something. And if people, it's kind of like how I'm on my channel. If you're not vibing with the vibe here, that means you're not supposed to be here, and that's okay. But I'm not going to make videos to pander just for the sake of attention, and for what? So I gave you what you want and you subscribe. That's meaningless to me. If I create something I think is of value and then you are interested in being here, that's meaningful. So anyways, I managed to rattle through. I think the Holy Spirit came through on the battery front here, because I didn't want to have to like make another video about this to get all of this off. But like, this is what I'm saying about environments. And this is why I say it's a tragedy, because we were all friends. Like, we all started out together. Like, this is the same. She was also in the same group I'm telling you about from the last video, that my history teacher was like, wow, you're the last one here, whatever. Like, we all started out so well. We all started out together. We all started out with so many hopes and dreams. Like, we and her and the other girl were all used to sing. We were like, should we apply for the X Factor in our little group? We're all jamming with the band, like all playing music in like the school. Well, she's all so good at sports, like so good at football. She was like literally amazing. She's amazing at like so many different things. Not to mention she's just a lovely girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's so good at like including everybody and just like creating a vibe. And like she was going through a lot. She suffered from, you know, being compared to me, unfortunately. And also she was somebody that took things to heart, because I remember there was one time the guys would joke, because she did a lot of sports, she was a bit more toned than average. And I thought she had a great body, by the way. I thought she had a fantastic body. And I always used to tell her that, because me, being a black girl with no bum, felt like the worst thing ever. I've got no ass at all. But these days I'm actually happy about it. But you know what I mean? And so the guys used to joke, we used to tease her though. They'd be like, well, they used to say, "What a man," like that, "What a man." And I was just like, they used to tease us all. Like the guys used to tease me. Like this, like it's not that deep. Also, I realized in life, people, if you let them bully you, they will. Like, if they can see you're not fazed, then they won't be that fazed. Do you know what I'm saying? Or just clap back. Like I did that when I was in primary school. Some girl tried to bully me and I said to her, "Okay, good, great, well done. Like you're way bigger than me, so you can just sit on me." That's such like big whoop. I was like 8 years old. She never bothered me again. And again, even her behavior is probably just a reflection of what she's going through in life. And that's why even when people talk about their bullies as if some like villains of the past, it's like we're all villains realistically in somebody's story. And it's actually sad that for those people, their wounds are just clearer to see than other people's, you know. So that was another tragedy of it all, because then I saw her all posing, like squatting down, popping her ass out with guns, like, and I was just thinking, nah, bro, how did we get here? And I just, it's just sad. Like, it's sad. Like I said, all I can think of is it's just sad that like there was obviously something missing like in everybody's lives, and there was obviously a lot of underlying things that no one was talking about. And so like I've been talking a lot about that on like the world scale, and I feel like it was necessary to me to also give some examples of people that I knew, like that I just watched. When I tell you that things like school and everything, they just beat the hell out of you. Like life, your circumstances, your environment is so much more important than anything else in life, because that's where you, sorry, I'm crossing the road. That's where you, you're literally fed to the wolves. It just so happens that for me, anything that I endured at school, for me, was not worse than what I was enduring outside of school. It could not compete. So that's why when I was like going through whatever, the whole town's against me, and I'm just here eating my PB&J, drinking milk, watching Glee, getting sent all these messages online, talking about all these things I should do to myself, why I should hate myself, I should this, that, all based on a lie. Because I'm like, this nonsense happening in school is nothing in comparison to what's happening outside. School for me was like heaven in a way. I got to play sports, I got to do dance, I got to do maths and stuff, I got to do fun activities, I got to see everyone, I got to like, you know what I mean? It was a lot of fun for me. So yes, all those other things were there, but I was having a good time, you know what I mean? I had good, cool friends that I enjoyed hanging out with. And the teachers were all right for the most part. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Shout out to the Holy Spirit, who's definitely the only reason this thing is still recording. I'm going to go, but hopefully this gives you some ideas and like some tragic, like real life tragic stories I watched before my very eyes. And like, I lost out these friends because something within me I could never falter on my morals and values, no matter what life has put me through. I just can't do it, you know, evidently. And so me, who had the least of everybody in terms of gifts and talents, and look at how things turned out. So yeah, anyways, you guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. I hope you've enjoyed this. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. Nah. Other than just, this is heartbreaking to me, you know. I just want to see us all win at the time.